Namaste and hi friends, this is Parvati with Visionary Veda, bringing you your Vedic Astrology Report for March of 2020. Today is March 1st, and in the sky we have Mercury retrograde conjunct the Sun in the sidereal sign of Aquarius. Venus has moved from its exaltation point in Pisces and is now in Aries and will soon conjunct with Uranus. Saturn is in its home sign of Capricorn, and Pluto has moved signs and is in 0 degree Capricorn, so it's also conjunct Saturn. Now this is huge because Pluto's a very slow-moving planet. And then in Sagittarius we have Jupiter, Ketu, and Mars, and Rahu in Gemini. So what are the significations of these energies for us this month? What's in store? So let me just tell you, there is a lot in store this month on a global scale and also on a personal scale. Now, if you want to see how these energies manifest on a personal level, it would be wise to book a reading with me or another astrologer. You can get in touch with me on the email below. But otherwise, all I can really present in my readings is the general energies and how it can affect us on the more mundane or global level. So these energies in March are going to be intense, okay? There's going to be a lot of changes, restructuring, a lot of global, it's going to affect us on a global level. Like all of us are going to be affected by this. The intensity of this month is something to be taken seriously, but not to fear, because there's nothing we can do about it anyway. Use this report as a weather report, as a possibility, as a chance of things manifesting according to the planetary energies, all right? Okay, so let's get started. So March 8th, Venus is going to be conjunct Uranus. The next day, Mercury is going to go direct from being retrograde. I'm just going to list out the dates, and then we'll go back and I'll talk about each one and their significance, okay? So Mercury's going direct on the 9th, the day after the Venus and Uranus conjunction. And then on March 15th, Sun changes sign. Sun moves into Pisces. And this is when Moon also is going to change, not change, but move from Scorpio into Sagittarius, and what will be formed in the sky is something called a Kalasarpa Yoga. All right, so that is happening on the 15th. Then on the 20th, Mars conjoins Jupiter in Sagittarius. And March 22nd, it moves into Capricorn to conjoin Pluto. Very heavy energies, you know, and Mars is the warrior, it's the instigator, okay? So remember that. And then on the 22nd, and then on the 31st, we have a great conjunction of Mars, Saturn, and Pluto all conjunct, like directly, in the nakshatra of Abhijit. Now, this is usually contained inside of Uttara Ashada Nakshatra, but I want to talk about this later on because it has a very important significance, this nakshatra of Abhijit. And then Jupiter also enters Capricorn on March 31st, that day. So Jupiter's going to enter Capricorn, and then it's going to go retrograde back into Sagittarius, and then it's going to continue and then eventually move out of Sagittarius at the end of the year. So what are the significations of these energies? Well, let's start off with Venus conjuncting Uranus in the sign of Aries. This is happening in the nakshatra of Ashwini Nakshatra. And this is the nakshatra of the Ashwin twins that brought the science of Ayurveda or health to humanity. So it is really interesting to me that Venus and Uranus are conjunct in Ashwini because it is indicating the coronavirus, health, healing. It also indicates the feminine. So we could also see some feminine uprising against oppressive cultures and societies. It also signifies wealth, money, and the stock markets. So we could see a lot of volatility on that day, on March 8th. So the markets, money, females, and health, health and well-being in Ashwini Nakshatra. The next day, Mercury goes direct and will pass the sun. It has been purified when it goes direct. So basically when a planet goes retrograde, it's passing close to the sun and then moves backwards, and it's called a purification. So Mercury, hopefully we will start seeing more communication around what's happening with this virus that seems to be a possible global pandemic, but we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but the planets indicate that it really might. So Pluto has moved sign, and it's in Capricorn right now, and is sitting with Saturn. And so when Pluto transits, right, so Pluto's a very, very slow moving planet. And usually in Vedic astrology, we don't use the outer planets, but I am making an exception in certain readings, because when certain big changes with these planets occur, we will feel them. So Pluto moving into Capricorn with Saturn. See, now Capricorn and Saturn are the energies of the establishment of order, of old things, old people, old rules, old ways of thinking, right? Established structure, government organizations or corporate organizations, or any kind of working order, right? And Capricorn is all about the establishment. So when Pluto comes into this sign and can join Saturn, there's a possibility of transformation, upheaval, and shift and change, and a restructuring of the establishment. The general feeling or energy of Saturn is restrictive. So we might find around this time some restrictions coming upon us from the establishment, okay? Now, Mars is going to be transiting into the sign of Capricorn. So now Mars is the planet of the warrior, of war, of the soldier, of the force that carries out the command. So depending on where the command is coming from, Mars is carrying out the orders, okay? So right now, until the 22nd, Mars is sitting in Sagittarius. Now, it's very interesting. It has moved out of Mula Nakshatra. Ketu is still in Mula. It is now in Purva Ashada, and Jupiter is in Uttara Ashada. I think with the combination of Venus moving into Ashwini, health, Mercury being retrograde, so not that much information, a bit of chaos information about it, and Mars moving through Ketu, it is bringing up these karmas, right? Because Mars is in Purvashada, it indicates the beginning of victory. So the energy to find some sort of a cure or something like that for the virus, and Jupiter being in Uttarashad, so that's the final victory. So I do feel that a cure will be found. I don't think it's going to be that insane. What I think is going to be a bit chaotic and crazy is just how the people and the public react to the news of this virus, okay? But I do feel that it will be okay by the end of the month. So on another note, what talking about Mars in Sagittarius until the 22nd, moving through the point in Ketu where the eclipse was earlier in December of this year. This was an activation point, a planetary activation point. Now with Mars transiting through that point, it's caused a lot of upheaval. Sagittarius is the sign of religious institution, law, order, dharma, righteousness, morality, higher knowledge, and higher seeking. And as I've said before, that can also translate into some fundamentalist, dogmatic, sort of fascist, zealous, religious belief. And this eclipse was visible over India. And as you've just heard today there was a terrible, terrible tragedy in India, which was a religiously instigated riot which killed 60 people in New Delhi. So these are the signs of the planetary manifestations. Ketu, like dharma, like not dharma, but like past karma. Mars, violence, Jupiter, dogma, religion, strict, like orthodox, right? And so yeah, I just wanted to point out like how we can see these planetary alignments manifesting on a global scale. When it moves into Sagittarius, when Mars moves into Sagittarius and conjoins Pluto and Saturn, I also feel that we're going to see this same sort of action start to move into the political realm. So that day, and not that day, sorry, on the 31st is when Jupiter also is going to bring all of that sort of religious fundamentalism into like more of a global scale. If you already look at it, what's happening in India is religious fundamentalism. If you look at what's happening in the United States around the elections, there's so much religious indoctrination and verbiage, and it's just, there's no separation anymore of church and state. So to be ready around the 22nd of March to to see something happening around those days regarding like these energies, of authority and establishment and violence and restriction as a possibility. Yes. And yes, on Jupiter moving signs is going to join Saturn and Capricorn and Mars on the 31st. So this is when we're really, really going to see some things coming into shape on the world stage. So yeah, that is a it's a short and quick report for a very action-packed full March. One of the other things I did want to talk about are the nakshatras that this is happening in, and the Kala Sarpa Yoga. So we've got, like I said before, Venus and Uranus. Uranus, sudden changes, sudden discoveries, suddenly something can happen, right? In the nakshatra of Ashwini, which is the prime nakshatra that indicates health. Then we have a conjunction, of the strong conjunction of Mars, Saturn, and Pluto happening in 6 degrees of sidereal Capricorn in the nakshatra of Uttara Ashada, which is the ultimate victory, right? But that 6 degrees is a very special point in Capricorn, because this is where the hidden nakshatra of Abhijit is, at this degree. So this is incredibly significant and something to pay attention to if there are any other Vedic astrologers out there listening to my report. So Abhijit is unbeatable. Abhijit is a special spiritual hidden nakshatra, hidden inside of Uttara Ashada. Uttara Ashad is ruled by the sun, by the leaders. Okay? So this is why the energies, it's like unbeatable. So this is why I feel like I need to say that it is possible that even though there is this movement and momentum forward, the establishment can come in and be victorious. There will be a uprising when Jupiter moves. There will be a backlash to that when Jupiter moves into Capricorn, right? The righteousness, the Dharma will backlash against that. And then the energies will go back to Sagittarius and then move again. So I do feel like if there is any kind of restrictive sort of laws or plans or policies put into place, that there will be backlash from it. But just keep aware of those dates. Yeah, keep aware of those dates. So March is an incredible month. There's a lot of changes going on. I don't wish to scare anybody, but oh, the Kalasarpa Yoga, sorry. So then the Kalasarpa Yoga, which happens on March 15th, right, where the moon, all the planets are on one side of Rahu and Ketu. So basically, in the mythology, it's like all the planetary energies are consumed by Rahu on one end and Ketu on the other hand. So it's a very confusing, delusional, illusional, and karmic time period this month, right? Starting after the 15th. So up until the 15th, things are going to gurgle, burgle to the surface. And after the 15th, more like towards the end of the month, we're going to see things really happening on the global scale. So I have gone quite a long time. So forgive me for that, but I just think that this month's energies are super important and intense to pay attention to, super intense and important to pay attention to. And please take care. You know, like also these energies are karmic and they're spiritual, and these things are meant to unfold. What we need to do for ourselves is look within our lives, because as within, so without, and see where it is these energies are manifesting within us, how we're expressing them, and what we can do to keep them assuaged, yeah, to keep them calm and in balance. So that's going to do it for me. Have a beautiful March. I am not going to be available for the next month or so, but I will be back. Feel free to leave messages if you need to get in touch. And until next time, thank you very much and enjoy the life. Namaste. Take care. Bye-bye.